Hello, everyone. So I'm going to do a breakdown, a small breakdown and a comparison of Ape Fit from 2016. I've played it on shows before, and actually I was on a show several months ago called Something to Squatch About with the host Sean, and he in particular liked this clip. It's hands down one of my favorite clips as well. The background on it is this was recorded at 10:51 p.m. September 21st in 2016. The weekend before this occurred, while out servicing audio, me and a friend actually had some rocks thrown at us. So I have a suspicion that target subjects were in the area. When this occurs, it had been very stormy all day long, lots of wind and rain. The storm ended around 6 p.m., and from about 6 p.m. till this event, it's absolutely quiet. You could hear a pin drop in the woods. It was dead silent. At 10:51, this occurs, and then it goes dead silent again for 8 hours until the batteries die in the recorder. So that in itself makes it highly unusual. There was no movement that would make me believe something was getting closer to the recorder. In that elk, when they come into an area, you will hear them from a distance as they move in and get closer, and they make a lot of noise. They sound like a herd of cattle. They don't come into an area silently, make a bunch of noise, and then go quiet. This clip in its entirety is 23 seconds. So you have basically about 12 hours of silence with 23 seconds of absolute chaos. So I'll go ahead and play it. So obviously, these last two signatures are percussives, in my opinion, that were done on purpose and with intent and with force. You have another percussive here. I think it's from something that was thrown. I think this was a thrown item, and this was the residual effects of either a broken branch or what have you going through the underbrush. As we come back here, what we're going to look at really is this section here. This is a vocalization. This is a vocalization. And over here we have a vocalization. We have some lighter vocalizations that you can't see in this clip, but I will in another clip be amping them so you can see them. There is a percussive here that might be a vocalization as well. I'm not sure. But it's not the same as the vocalizations that I'm really concentrating on. And I will discuss that in my other clip. This is a percussive, 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 and then we have more percussives here. What I want to really pay attention to is these vocals here, these louder ones, looking at where they start in frequency and the similarities they have with the gorilla clip that I will be playing for you. But I will point out right here, it will be hard to hear. I'm going to highlight it. There is, like, for all intents and purposes, it sounds like a squirrel being surprised, warning bark, or something along those lines. It's running about 1200 hertz, which is the range for some of the suspect whistles I've got in the area, but this is not a whistle in my opinion. It's a whimper, or like I said, to me, it really sounds like a squirrel that's possibly been woken up by the individual making this noise. So I'll go ahead and play this a couple times. I'll go ahead and play it with the suspect vocal. You can kind of hear them both, but there's like it could be a whistle. Like I said, I'm on the fence with it. I don't know what it is, but it's different than the other vocalizations in this clip. So essentially, we have something that is not like elk or deer or bear or coyote. Sounds an awful lot like primate to me, and I'm going to repeat myself over and over. I'm not an expert. I'm just pointing out some things that I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and look at the gorilla clip, and then we'll look closer when we go to the comparison side by side. I'm going to take this section here and I'm going to amplify it and do a little noise filter on it, and we'll compare it with gorilla. Okay, so this is a gorilla that starts out doing what I'm calling a pant grunt. Shane Corson actually gave me this clip. I'm not sure where he got it, but about 10 years ago, probably, he recorded some interesting vocalizations as well as a possible chest beat up near the Olympic Project's headquarters. So I think he actually purchased this clip, but it is a gorilla, and it starts out with like pant grunts, and it morphs into growls. I'll go ahead and play it. Obviously, this is not the same as Ape Fit, but what I'm going to do is take pretty much this highlighted section here and do a little comparison with some of what's going on in Ape Fit. Okay, so this section here is the section I talked about when I played Ape Fit before. I have amplified it and I've run a noise reducing filter over it. And when I've done that, these vocalizations here now you can see. In the original clip, you can't see them because they're faint. Either the animal wasn't putting as much power into the vocal, and most likely it had its head turned in a different direction. The vocals that are louder are definitely vocals where the animal's head was pointed towards my recorder. So you see, as I stated before, the vocals are starting down here very low in hertz. And you see 1, 2, and 3. This right here, which in the original clip kind of sounds like a vocal, is actually a percussive and a vocal, possibly a percussive sound that's made by the animal, but it's not the same as these vocalizations. And these are what I'm concerned with. This is the gorilla, the section of the gorilla pant grunts that I pointed out in the gorilla clip. Notice how low the hertz are for these grunts. And notice the grunts that we have here in the suspicious clip. And go ahead and play it. Now they're not the same. I don't expect them to be the same. I've talked about this in other comparisons I've done with known primates, but it's got a similar structure to it. You've got a build up once again, a build up to a louder vocalization, and after this, there's actually the percussives, the louder percussives. And in this, you have the gorilla building up again, and he gets very excited and goes into growls shortly after this. So you have this theme with primates. There's a build-up to their vocalizations. I'm not an expert. This is just my opinion, and I'm just pointing out things that I'm noticing. It may be relevant, it may not be, but it's very interesting to me how these vocalizations are structured and how they're working. I will go ahead and play it again. And at the end of the day, I don't know what made the clip I'm calling Ape Fit. I just know that it's highly unusual and not what I've recorded elk and bear and deer and coyotes. Basic, those are the main known animals in the area. I've not recorded them doing anything like Ape Fit, but I find it interesting that Ape Fit does have some similarities to what the gorilla is doing with the buildup, the very low, deep grunts. So I don't know what made the noise in Ape Fit, but I think it's highly suspicious. So I'm going to wrap this up by playing Ape Fit one more time for you. It's obviously a highly agitated individual. The gorilla clip is of a agitated gorilla. I could be wrong, but 8-Fit is probably one of my favorite clips, and I really believe it points towards primate behavior and not our typical known species behaviors. Thanks for watching. Over and out.